Hello, welcome to Cure Disease Kuri channel. My name is Junko Shiozawa and she is my daughter Kuri. Kuri has a very serious disease called DRPLA. It causes the brain to atrophy. Inherited progressing disease. This channel's goal is to find cure for many diseases, and I want to share challenger's life. It's great goal. This time, I interviewed Sarah, the COO of n-Lorem, the non-profit organization that provides the experimental treatment for Kuri. n-Lorem is based in San Diego. Their mission is to give lifelong treatment, free of charge, to people with nano-rare diseases. Kuri is the second person in the world with DRPLA to receive this special drug. We are deeply thankful. There are more videos about n-Lorem. I'll put the links in the description below. And Sarah's son, Ethan, also has a nano-rare mutation. So today, she spoke not only as a COO, but also as a mother of a child with a rare disease. Please watch it.
Hi there, my name is Sarah Glass. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at n-Lorem Foundation. So I joined about 4 years ago, so I've been responsible for working with Stan to essentially build the team and establish the processes and put us in a position to be able to scale up and develop many drugs for lots of patients.
So I know you are a scientist and so you are the patient mother. Yeah. And when I watched your video, sometimes your face is like mother and sometimes your face is different. And I was very touchy.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's very sweet.
Yeah. So you met a lot of the patient mother and family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great privilege, I think, that we've gotten to know so many of the patient families, and I came to Stan as a parent wanting to see if I could find a treatment for my child, and realized my professional background could maybe help, take his mission and his vision and bring it to life. And so it is interesting, though, on a day-to-day basis, you're working in a lot of these clinical protocols and all of these things. We're thinking so much about the individual patients and their families. Like, how does this actually impact the families? What does the treatment look like, and how does it actually impact the day-to-day? Like, how do families get to the place to actually administer the treatment, and all of those sort of logistical pieces, but also the emotional piece. There's so much hope that something could potentially benefit their child and their loved one. So yeah, it's an important part of, I think, all of us that work here, regardless of how close we are to an individual patient. We're close to all of them, and I think it drives everyone on our team, honestly. Yeah.
Yes, and maybe me too, but we had a lot of painful time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you knew your son's disease,
Mm-hmm.
what did you think about?
Well, so yeah, he's young. So he, he was, when he was born, he was very sick, and they didn't know what was wrong with him. He was failure to thrive, and he had feeding tubes, and every system wasn't developed properly. And at the time, it wasn't, he was born in 2017. It wasn't a question of, like, let's just solve this. It was just, we just need to essentially fix the issue that's in front of us today. So the failure to thrive, you have a feeding tube and he gains weight, and then in theory, then we're okay. But then the next thing comes, right? And so then there were so many different individual pieces that contributed to his disorder, that before you had a diagnosis, you just right? You just don't know. I mean, I think, and I think the challenge that we had, it was things like, okay, you fix this with a small surgery, and then now you think, okay, it's fine now. No, it's not fine, right? Because then the next thing comes. And then so until we had an actual diagnosis, we were enrolled in a research program, actually, because all of the diagnoses that they thought he had ended up being dismissed, essentially. They weren't correct. And so he was enrolled in the Undiagnosed Disease Network. It's a funded study by the NIH. And so it was whole genome sequencing. And so until we had that diagnosis, we just continued to maintain hope that he just happened to be behind. Every system might be just too slow or behind. But, I think unfortunately then you get the diagnosis, and you don't any longer have, like, those aren't our goals anymore, right? Like, our goals are not the goals of, like, raising a regular child. You of a sudden have different goals for that child, and it's very sad, right? It was a grieving process for a while, and then you're like, okay, we got to do something about it, right? So I think that was that transition between, it's hard, and then you have to get on with it, right? You do. Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Too hard,
Yeah.
I know. But when you made the stand, do you remember?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, excuse me. Yeah, you just made me choked up. But, yeah. So I met Stan. I just found out about Instagram about n-Lorem, and I reached out, and we had a great chat on Zoom, and and he didn't know about my son's mutation, and he said, the same things he says to everyone, like he can help potentially. If he can, if the technology can help, he's going to help, and then it was like a switch kind of, and I was like, wait a second, like, how are you going to do this for all these people, And then it was very, it was really exciting. I was in a really great place in my career at my previous role, and I was doing a lot of work actually in rare disease, clinical trial development, and clinical, drug development. And I really enjoyed the work I was doing. And then I met him, and he had this little tiny, organization, a nonprofit with a big dream, and it just made sense. It made a lot of sense for me to, I was nervous, of course, and I thought, well, perhaps I can help you bring your vision to life. And I think that's why he and I have worked well together. Is he has a big vision. And we're just not going to stop at anything to be successful. And I can help bring that to life from like an operational perspective, to really be able to actually put the pieces together with the team and the processes. And over the last 5 years, we've really, brought one person on at a time, each process in place. And I think the cool thing is we've really solved the R&D operational piece. So we know now exactly how to grow the organization to be able to help many more patients. So we've done that, and we've done that in the US because we have a specific FDA guidance document path. So we know exactly what the path is in the US. And now we've been able to successfully navigate that with we have 27 INDs approved, including the one for your daughter. And now the question is, how do we expand this beyond the US without having the defined regulatory path? So that actually was the reason that we were able to be sort of more efficient in our success in the US, is because we know exactly what that path looks like. And so now the question is, how do we actually learn and engage and work with regulatory bodies outside of the US to take the drugs that we already have and bring them to patients that are in need outside of the US.
Yeah. What is the big challenge from now on?
Well, the biggest challenge, ultimately is just it's financial, honestly. I think a couple years ago, the challenge was really, can we scale this? Are the operations realistic to actually be able to do this with so many patients? at one time? And I think the answer today is yes, absolutely. And the only thing holding us back right now is just hours in the day and financial. I mean, and those are big problems, but they're relatively straightforward. So we know exactly what the solution is, and so we're working on looking at different, ways to ensure the support for additional drugs, and also we're building our team. So we actually have 2 new people who are starting this week and last week, one specifically in the regulatory space. So really to try to say, okay, we need now to move forward with regulatory expansion beyond the U.S. to continue to grow our fundraising, and those are the biggest challenges and opportunities. And I think we know how to solve them, and Stan and others working very feverishly to ensure that we can continue with this sustainability, because that's kind of where we are now. Is the question is, now that we have all of these drugs, how do we continue to get them to more patients and to leverage that to be able to fund the next patients that are coming along? And so that's a really critical piece of kind of our long-term success.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you have a dream in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think personally, of course, I mean, I dream for all of the patients that need a treatment that we can accomplish that for them, and that dream, then that's a big dream, right? But then the way my brain operates is then we have to break that down into individual steps. And so I think there's a lot of elements to that. There's scientific advances so that we're able to target more mutations. So that's one thing. I think it's the financial piece to be able to grow and continue to help more patients in a much more even time-sensitive fashion. I think we're moving very quickly now, but not nearly as quickly as we could with unlimited resource. And of course, I hope someday my son can also be treated, and so we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah. My husband passed away 7 years ago, but maybe, he's happy now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. So finally, please let me know something was please to hear for this for patient family and patient, please. Yeah.
Well, I just, I think thank you, first of all, for giving us a chance to work with you. And we hope and we will do everything we possibly can to bring more treatments to more patients outside of the U.S. and in the U.S. So thank you for your support, and look forward to engaging with many more in the future.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Your story gives so much courage to families like us. Not knowing what's happening to our own child, that's truly painful. But listening to Sarah's words remains us taking action. That is what matters. Her actions are helping not just her son, but many other children too. So, what can we do? One important step is to simply let people know about n-Lorem. Please share this information. I've put the link below. Please check it out. And this October, n-Lorem will host a special colloquium in Boston. Researchers, doctors, and patient families will join. You can attend in person or online for free. That link is also in a description. So one day, someone in your country might be helped too. So never give up. Tomorrow will be a good day. Thank you very much for watching.